Back is Dorsey to throw. And he throws it in the end zone.
To the races, can he catch it?
The Ohio State Buckeyes.
Your number one stop for all Buckeye football news.
What's in the box?
A boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat.
This is such a crock of shit. Pooh-ah!
The Ohio State of Mind podcast. Turn it up.
All right, it is Monday, the 21st of April, and you know what it is. It's the Ohio State of Mind podcast. As always, I am Chris. To my far right here is obviously my hetero life mate, Josh. Very special guest to the pod, Donovan. He hasn't been on for a couple weeks, couple months. I don't know. I lose track of time, but Donovan.
It's been weeks. Let's not exaggerate. It's been weeks.
Yeah.
It feels like months.
It has been a while though, since I've been on. I feel like, but maybe last month I was on. I don't remember, but thank you guys so much. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Donovan,
Happy draft week. Happy draft week. My dog is wanted to be a part of this show too, apparently. So sorry, but
man.
It's been a while, Donovan, since you and I have been on together. The last time you were on with just Josh, did we announce the new gig that we've got?
No. Oh, what, me? Yeah. I get. Well, when was the last time I was on? What? Oh, the SEC Unfiltered, right? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris Phillips, man, and Dave Shoemate, and all those guys. Cole Thompson, great guy over there. That Texans Wire. But yeah, I'm helping them out, doing some content. Obviously, we're in basketball season when I was hired, and then now in Florida won the national championship at SEC school, and now we're getting into football. And SEC football never stops with recruiting and the transfer portal, NIL stuff. So it's been cool. I just did an interview with Graham Mertz, who's in this draft and former Florida Gator quarterback and Wisconsin Badger. So a little Big Ten and SEC. But yeah, I'm excited, man. Thank you guys for letting me be on the show. I really appreciate it.
No, of course. Will, hey guys, what's going on? Will, thanks for jumping in with us. Josh, it's been a week since we have adjourned. Has anything noteworthy in the last 7 days since we've been on the Ohio State of Mind podcast?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you on putting together that wonderful homage, that cornucopia of sound we got to. It was very reminiscent of Weenie in the Butt on anybody who listens to Family Guy.
Yeah.
But
that's what I was aiming for.
We talked about Nico briefly last week and the drama surrounding that. We could talk about the joke that is Shador getting his jersey retired, but that doesn't really have – the Nico thing had Ohio State and an NIL ramifications. The Shador thing doesn't. It's just kind of nonsense, other than the fact that I think it makes us see a little warmer with the alumni base. But yeah, I don't. As far as like Ohio State goes, the news in the last 7 days hasn't been a lot of news about transfers going out. Hadn't been, nothing major there. Nothing major about transfers coming in. I know that they're looking at the defensive end from North Carolina, who entered the transfer, visited campus today.
Yes.
Whether he committed or not, I don't know. There's been no news of that. So.
No. If we want to touch back on Nico, the only thing that when it comes to Nico is the ramifications is, hey, he could possibly be playing in the Big Ten. Has that been confirmed?
It's confirmed. That is confirmed. He is with UCLA. Yeah.
He is with UCLA. We don't know what pennies he's making though.
No, well, I spoke to our boy Austin Feniger, who said that he'd be more than happy to come up. By the way, shout out to Julian Goins-Jackson, who said that he would come on the show as well. We have to find a day to get him on the show. Hopefully next week. He messaged me right before the show, or else I would have had him on tonight to give his draft thoughts to some of his former teammates. But I talked to Austin, the agent that we had on the show a few weeks ago, and he told me before the UCLA thing went down, he said he is going to make less money. I said, how can you be so confident? This is a guy that I think is going to be a future first-round pick, a superstar. Donovan, I mean, you and I both have talked about how great Nico is and how high his ceiling is. I mean, right? You agree, correct?
Yeah, he's got a high ceiling. He's been inconsistent as hell, but he's young. He's only 20, and he's got 2 more years of eligibility left. So I think he has a high ceiling, a very, very high ceiling. But as far as him just being I mean, he's not worth that much money, but yeah.
No.
I mean,
And then Austin ended up being 100% right. He went out to UCLA. Again, all the numbers are kind of mystery-ish, kind of like they were at Tennessee. But not only do we feel fairly confident he's getting less money, but he's also going to be getting bent over by the Uncle Sam out in California, because that's not exactly a favorable state as far as taxes go. If you guys aren't aware, Donovan, I know you've talked to
well, he's from there. He knows that. I mean, yeah. So.
That's why. That's one of the reasons why.
He's from Downey. Yeah, he's from Southern California. I don't know if that's why he left, but
that's one of the reasons though with the NIL thing with they
all
that stuff. How many former athletes have you interviewed when you say, hey man, who do you hope drafts you, and you think you're going to get some kind of cute wholesome hometown answer, and they just say the Arizona Cardinals, the Dallas Cowboys, the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's never a team in California. You can talk to a dude born in Candlestick Park, okay, born in it, okay. And they're not going to take this. They're not going to say the Niners. They're just not. They're not going to, because they all know the financial ramifications out there. They just do.
Yeah, hey, you got to be like Matthew Stafford, made money off the field, man. Or all those Lakers guys.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
Will chimes in.
Matthew Stafford has been in more commercials in LA 4 times as much as he was in Detroit. I never saw a Matthew Stafford commercial in my life in Detroit, but in LA, you gotta be smart. You gotta get a good agent, I guess. Or like Austin, he's a good agent. Shout out Austin.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, shout out.
Will chimes in. He says, "Hey, less surrounding talent as well." Yeah, I mean, you can't argue that. But I think,
UCLA blows.
Do you think Deshaun Foster though? He's just like, he's like, this is my big break here at UCLA.
Well, Donovan, do you want to take this first?
It could be. They're trying to. I interviewed Ethan Garbers actually, he's going to be replacing, not that long ago. And Ethan is a Southern California kid through and through, and he was happy to go back from Seattle, where he was at Washington for a year, and then go to LA and play there for a couple of years behind DTR. And he likes Coach Foster and says, they're building something. Last year was tough, obviously, for them, but. Snuck in, did the best they could with their record, and played better. But he's trying to recruit well. They're trying to open up that pocket like UCLA. They've had some financial issues, obviously, but I think if you look at what their basketball team is, that's a basketball school still. So they've got to just, get better at football. You know what I mean? So, but they're pretty good at all sports. They're kind of one of those teams like a Stanford or Texas or whatever that's pretty good at most sports. But as far as football goes, I think they're building something great there. Talking to a couple of their players, they like Coach Foster, obviously UCLA guy through and through. And and this is, they can kind of, USC's down, so it's kind of perfect right now for them to kind of come up.
Yeah, I think I was not a big fan of the Deshaun Foster hire just because he had such a limited resume. Nothing against him. I think he's a great, some of my favorite memories are him playing with the Panthers and at UCLA and being a superstar. And, he great former football player. I'm glad that they got an alumni in there. I think he's super passionate. I think that's the route UCLA had to take after Chip Kelly. He's shown that he's willing to do the dirty work and kiss the right butts. And Nico's apparently the next butt in line to get kissed. With that said, though, as far as the splash goes, I think that he's aware that even if it backfires, it shows that he made an effort. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, hey, man, we threw a Hail Mary out there. He had some really nice momentum. UCLA finished pretty strong. I'm a guy who bet against UCLA pretty much every week. And those last 4 or 5 weeks were pretty good as far as them being competitive. So maybe he can do something this year. I don't think so. I doubt it. I think that Nico's really good, though. So Nico is good enough to work. If the right coach can get in his right headspace, he can turn a college program around. Are they going to win the national championship? No. Are they going to go to the playoffs? No. I mean, a bowl game, right? He can win a bowl game.
I was going to say that, Josh. I think Tino Sinceri is the OC now, quarterback coach, coming from Indiana, and I love Tino. What Tino did with last year with Curtis Rourke, Curtis was already good. We know that Ohio, but for him I think Curtis got better in that offense. He played with a torn ACL for most of the year. So Tino's there now. Tino's calling the plays as OC. Younger guy too, right? Calling plays. And I think that's a good hire. And then you have Jerry Neuheisel too, another UCLA guy, right? Rick's son. He's the assistant coach under Tino and under Deshaun Foster. So you got some young minds there that are really – because their coaching staff is really young. They had Kid Norton Jr. too last year, who was another UCLA legend, right?
Yeah.
But he's gone. He took the Commanders' job, linebacker coach. But they had a bunch of former Bruins in that. But Tino Sincere is going to be – that's going to be a match made in heaven, I think, Tino and Nico. Their names kind of rhyme too, but Tino's a young OC that did a hell of a job, though, with Indiana last year.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago. I remember him at Pitt. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I know Mike Shanahan was the play caller in the OC for Indiana, but I think Tino developed in the quarterback room and being the game planner week to week, helping out was big. And now he's taking a jump. So, yeah, I think that'll be helpful. But, yeah, they got to get better dudes on the field. That's what it's all about, especially in that conference.
Mm-hmm.
So, best conference.
Donovan, last 7 days, anything new, anything exciting in the sports world?
For as far as football or just
for yourself, homie?
Oh man, I mean, like the Masters is still like riveting to me. Watching that was cool. Like obviously, like I'm a huge golf guy, so Rory winning that was insane. That was still like the biggest. And then the living down here in Florida, watching the Final Four and watching Florida win a Natty. And the bar scene down here was insane. Partying with those animals was cool. So those two things, and then I'm gearing up for the playoffs. Shout out to the Cavs, man. They look like they might be headed to the finals. I don't know if you guys are Cavs fans. I know you guys are both from Ohio. So. You got a really, really good team this year, man. Really underrated team. Donovan Mitchell, you know what I mean? So I've been watching. I'm a Lakers fan, so we had a bad night on Saturday, but hopefully we can bounce back. But, yeah, I mean, and then obviously all the transfer stuff. Indiana just got a recruit that just signed from Ohio, actually. So, that's big, and then just keeping up with the portal has been great. Joey Aguilar just went to Tennessee. So App State to UCLA to Tennessee. And then Nico's brother, Madden, entered the portal tonight, like 45 minutes ago from Arkansas.
Is he going to UCLA? Oh, my God, he's going to UCLA.
Well, he was already committed to you. That whole the family situation behind that's crazy. Madden was already committed to UCLA before Nico, and he decommitted. Because he didn't like
he enrolled at Arkansas. He's going to be at Arkansas.
He just transferred like an hour ago. They're saying he's probably going to go to UCLA. Yeah, back to UCLA.
That family is so stupid.
That family's wild. Yeah, well, apparently they didn't like the staff. It's like mostly the same exact staff he decommitted from, except Eric Bieniemy. It's pretty much, and Norton's gone, but I mean he plays offense, so I don't understand. I mean, whatever. But
it's so dumb.
And like I said, they're from down in California, Southern California, so I get it. They want to be back home and playing under there. I get it, but I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out. Yeah, Madden just decommitted like an hour ago. I just saw that. So that transfer portal is always fun. But the draft is what Chris, you asked me, the main thing is, for me, all that stuff is cool, especially the Masters. But the draft, man, I'll actually be at the draft party for the Jags, the official draft party on Thursday. And I'm super excited, man. I got my Jags, all I'm repping right now. Jags Wire, those guys are great over there still. I'm actually – I said I left the website. I'm actually back. So shout out Jags Wire.
That's awesome.
I'm doing something for the draft. That's it. It's not going to be a lot, so don't expect much, but just the draft. I'm going to do some stuff for the draft. I'll be at the draft party. So, yeah. And I know Browns, you're a big Browns fan.
Yep.
So you guys pick right before us. At 2, right? Yeah, we pick at 5, so we're right behind you guys.
Hopefully they just grab Travis Hunter and call it a day.
I mean, yeah, that's what I had on my last mock draft was Travis Hunter. And I think we'll get Mason Graham or Ashton Genty, one or the other.
Both those guys I don't think you can lose. All three of those guys will be very good.
Oh, yeah, you guys should definitely get Trav. I was actually looking at the Browns depth chart last night. I was like, Jesus Christ, they definitely need Trav. They need a lot. They need Travis Hunter bad because – that cornerback room is okay, but that receiver room is not good, dude. Besides Jerry Jeudy, I don't like it at all.
I mean,
and the running back room is horrible.
Cedric Tillman, he's got a lot of
nice. It's nice.
David Bell's still there.
Is Bell still there?
He's an okay possession guy.
Travis Hunter, Tillman, and
Jeudy.
Jeudy together. Okay, now we're talking. And then you got to get a quarterback, obviously. Love Joey Flacco, but
dude, Kenny Pickett, baby.
I think Flacco. I think Flacco starts over Pickett.
Dude, I hope not. That's not.
Wasn't Joe Flacco good with the Browns when he was there a couple years ago?
Yeah, but he's like 40. It's not a good sign for the future. Well, whatever. Anyway, I don't want to. We're gonna. I'm gonna.
This is not the Browns podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna catch me. I can rant about the Browns all day, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know we're gonna be talking about where these Ohio State guys go. There's a bunch of them. You know.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. And 2 transfers that I got written down. But Chris, how do you want to approach this? You want to go position?
I'm right. Here's how we're gonna do it, John.
Are you talking about current Ohio State guys or transfers too? Are you doing both or just current?
I mean, there's only 2 former transfers that are going to get
what, Quinn and who else?
Kyle.
Oh yeah, duh, yeah. I just watched Quinn's and Kyle episode on Gruden, both their episodes.
Yeah, dude.
Quinn's just came out like 2 hours ago.
I haven't watched that yet.
It's good.
Chris, how do you want to attack this?
Well, like Donovan said, it is draft weekend. The draft starts Thursday, and I'm just as excited as John Gruden when he gets a box full of shit and he can't ever open it up. You ever see his videos? It's so wild. But I am excited. I'm not that excited, but I'm very excited. And we're going to talk about the Buckeyes that we are going to maybe do some predictions about where we think we're going to go. And we're going to go group by group. So here's how we're going to do it.
Let's do it.
We're going to go group by group. I'm going to introduce this group. I'm going to tell you guys my ideas, and then you guys are going to go ahead, alternate, whatever have you. We'll go right down the line. Josh, you did bring up Kyle McCord. I did not put a prediction for Kyle McCord, but I'm willing to hear yours. Same thing, Donovan. We've got a plethora of Buckeyes, like Donovan said. We hope to see a couple of them come off the board that first night on Thursday. But we're going to start with the quarterbacks, and I've got Will Howard. Obviously, we got Will Howard came in from Kansas State, 1 year underneath the Buckeyes, underneath Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, took the realms, steadied the ship, made sure it didn't run off the tracks, and guess what? He is a national champion for it. Right off the rip, I've got call him Kyle Howard. Will Howard, just mix them both up. I've got Will Howard. Pick 135 to Seattle, 137 to Seattle, or 123 to Pitt. Those are all 4th round picks.
What do you mean? You did 3 7-round mock drafts? Is that what you're telling me?
I looked at it and said what makes sense for what round I think they fall in.
Oh, so you didn't do a mock draft. You looked at you said, okay, I think this guy's so you're what kind of grade? So here's how I did it. I gave these guys a round grade. I ranked all the quarterbacks,
okay.
Right? I think that there's 17 quarterbacks that are good enough to get drafted. And then I said, okay, these guys
17?
Huh?
17 quarterbacks?
I think there's 17 quarterbacks that are good enough to get drafted.
I mean, to get drafted. Yeah. I think I have like 14 or 15. Yeah, so I'm around the same with you.
Yeah, and again, Chris, would you like to tell? Do you remember how I grade?
Go right ahead.
I grade like I make love, generously. So, and then I looked obviously, you got Shador and you got the first round checker. I had Will Howard as a 3rd round grade, right? Okay. Does that mean he's going to go in the 3rd round? No, I gave 3 quarterbacks a 3rd round grade. Quinn Ewers, Dylan Gabriel, Will Howard. But I guess we're right on the 2 of the picks you had were the 3rd round, right, Chris?
Those are all 4th round picks.
Okay. All right. So
all
how do you? So we're so I gave him a 3rd round grade. You gave him a 4th round grade. That's not that far off. That's not that far off, right? No. Donovan, are you in the same ballpark or where are you at?
Yeah, I have a 4th round grade on Will Howard, and I have him going to the Las Vegas Raiders at pick 108, which for obvious reasons with Chip Kelly, and then just behind Geno Smith, because they lost Gardner Minshew, and then they still have AOC, Aiden O'Connell, but I think Will Howard is better, has better potential than O'Connell, and so I think he'll be quarterback 2. I
think you guys,
and then obviously Will Howard just in Chip Kelly's offenses. I mean, where a lot of people have him mocked, it's kind of generic, but that's where I have him. 108.
But it feels right. It feels good. I think you guys are probably more accurate than me. When I watched Will Howard,
dual threat veteran for Chip Kelly,
and he looks like a quarterback, right? When you look at this draft class, you have to take Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, and Jalen Milroe out of here. Those are kind of the automatic, okay, star potential, first round kind of caliber guys. The next tier, I don't know how Jackson Dart slipped in the first round, but he's getting. I don't know why. I don't think
that's my guy, man. So
I
don't know.
I've always had him in the first round. Josh, you know that.
That is wild. I got him in the second round, but when you look at some of these guys, they don't eat. Let's talk about the other quarterbacks that I gave a third round grade to: Dylan Gabriel, Quinn Ewers. Will Howard looks like more of an NFL quarterback than those guys, right? He's big. He looks right. He looks more like an NFL quarterback than those guys.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that he checks a lot of those boxes.
I got Quinn higher, but definitely more than Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel.
I got both Dylan and Quinn higher as who I would draft first, but I just think that it's hard. I think that the biggest positive for Will is that when you're in the second day, you're looking at a lot of quarterbacks that don't look like NFL quarterbacks. So
I think his ceiling to me is and I stole this from Bill Carroll, so it's not me, but Nick Foles is his ceiling was a really good comparison, but he's more athletic than him. Well, early on, because Nick Foles is actually really athletic, but most people think about Nick Foles late in his career, but early Nick Foles, look up his numbers, him and Will Howard are pretty much the same type of quarterback.
What did Nick Foles run in the combine? Didn't Rick Foles run like a 4.8 40 in the combine?
Was it 4.8? I can look it up.
Dude, I thought he was slow as shit.
I know Nick Foles is a good dunker, and I've heard about that.
I'm sure he's a fine athlete. I don't think it's a bad comparison.
Yeah, he's pretty slow, dude. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, Will Howard is athletic. I will say though, here's the funny part about Will Howard's body though, is that he's a little shaped like Gumby. Like when you do the rounds, he's kind of shaped like when I like CJ Stroud or like Brady Quinn, Will Levis, those guys, when they have veins popping out of their biceps and shoulders, and they got pec muscles.
I see this.
Will Howard's he's big, but he's kind of shaped like Gumby, right?
He's what, 6'4", 237? Yeah. 6'4", 237.
Yeah, and he's built more like Ben Roethlisberger towards the back end of his career.
Yeah, I like Will Howard. I mean, if somebody took him in the third, I wouldn't be pissed. But that's why I said fourth, because third is a little too high for my taste. And his arm on the deep balls, man, and then all that talent around him just kind of hard to.
So let's talk about
what Will chimes in with as well.
So
somebody just said that at the same time. His arm strength, yeah. I mean,
so let's talk about that. I don't think that he's got. First of all, if he had an elite arm, we wouldn't be talking about him in the third round. If he had elite arm strength, he would be in the first round conversation. So I'm not sitting here saying he has an elite arm. What I'm saying is that his game doesn't rely upon that deep ball, right? And if he goes to a place like the Raiders, they already know that. They don't run an offense like that. That's an offense that Brock Bowers is the center of the world as far as the receiving core goes. You know what I mean? Pete Carroll's always run a very short kind of offensive passing game, right?
West Coast, yeah.
Yeah, so Will Howard can win. I think that he is a guy that can, again, I think, what's the term? A sleeper. I think that's a guy that someone you might get. It would not surprise me if he carved out a Russell Wilson-like career where someone drafts him, he sits on the bench, he's got a great attitude, he knows what he does well, he knows what he doesn't do well, and his game doesn't rely upon that. Now, if we talk about Kyle McCord and his arm, Kyle McCord probably has a stronger arm than Will Howard, but Kyle McCord's arm strength is not elite, and that is a guy whose game relies upon him throwing the deep ball. We saw it with Marvin Harrison. We saw it with Rondé Gatson. He likes to throw it deep, and I don't think he can throw it deep well enough to survive in the NFL doing that. And that's why I gave. Well, I guess. Chris, how do you want to transition this? Because I got grades I gave a third round grade to Quinn Ewers and a fourth round grade to Kyle McCord. That's where I'm at with those guys as well.
No, I mean, again, you got two Buckeyes on there. I didn't have them. I only picked Buckeye players. I picked what round grade I gave them and what teams make sense. That was my prediction. So I mean, just to streamline, obviously, with the three of us going through all these players, I think that makes the most sense. But again, being able to throw in Kyle McCord in there as well, I think that makes sense.
Well, let's go. We can quit. Or Donovan, before we move on to running backs, or the next position, did you have anything to add about Quinn Ewers or Kyle McCord?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Quinn Ewers guy, man. I have him as a top 5 quarterback. So,
I think that's fair.
yeah, I have a late first, early second on Quinn Ewers. So I'm way higher on Quinn Ewers than most people. I just think he's got to stay healthy and kind of keep developing the lower half of his body, especially his footwork with throws. If he can work on his mechanics, being consistent, and the injury bug's the injury bug. I mean, he can't really work on that. You know, he's tried. He got a little bit bigger during the combine, but you know, hopefully he can stay healthy and then work on that lower mechanic. If he gets in the right system, I have him going to Seattle in the second round. I think that'd be a good spot for him behind Sam Darnold with Sam Howell and those guys, and he can kind of get in where he fits in and figure it out from there. But yeah, we'll see.
I don't mind.
I like him. Like I said, I have a late first, early second on him. I think he's about 32nd rated prospect. Yeah, I don't have a first round grade on 32 people, but so he's more early second.
That's wild.
And McCord, yeah, I know it's wild. McCord, I have a late third, early fourth, almost the same as Will Howard. I think he has more upside than Will Howard because of his arm strength. But he makes some bonehead throws. I watched him throw 4 interceptions in that game too, like everybody else on ESPN. But I also watched him carve up defense and play really well. And his arm strength is great. It's up there with the top of this draft class. And
you think?
Yeah, I do. I think he has really good zip. Really good zip.
Really? I think it flutters. That's interesting.
I think at Syracuse, it did flutter a little bit Ohio State, but maybe in that Carrier Dome, you know, or something. I feel like he really just took he had a weight lift off his shoulder, got better. And I think he would have been fine at Ohio State too if he had stuck around.
I think that
the team was so loaded. I mean, kind of hard to mess that up. But yeah, I like Kyle McCord, but I have him almost the same as Will Howard, except he has a little bit more upside. And he's a younger prospect too, a little bit, so that helps him because he came out early, technically. So, but yeah, I mean, I like those guys. But Quinn's my guy. I mean, I like him a lot.
I like Quinn. I gave him a 3rd round grade. I rated him higher than Will Howard. But Chris, I know we're on a time constraint here. We want to move on to the next position?
No, absolutely. We're talking running backs. Buckeyes, we've got 2 of them. We've got Travion Henderson. We got Quinshon Judkins. I'll start off here with Henderson. I'm going to say I'm not going to bat an eye if someone in the late first round jumps up and grabs Travion Henderson. I have him as a late first, second round guy. What I think makes sense for Travion Henderson, I've got at the highest, I've got him at 20 to Denver. Calm down. And then I've got 44 to Dallas, and I've got 58 to Houston. Travion Henderson.
Donovan, you want to attack the Travion thing first? You want me to do it?
I can go. Travion Henderson, I have a 2nd round grade on as well, and I don't remember I had him mocked or anything, but I have a 2nd round grade on him. I have Quinshon Judkins rated higher than Travion Henderson.
Whoa!
But, yeah, I know.
So
but not by much. I mean, they have 2nd round grades on both of them. So I think I would rather pick Quinshon Judkins than Travion Henderson, which I know is a little bit out there, but
that is out there. That is out there.
They're both really good. Both 2nd round grades. The only 1st round grade running back I have is Genty and Hampton, and then those 2 guys are next.
So I'm with you, Chris. I gave Travion Henderson a 1st round grade. Obviously Ashton Genty should go off the board first. It wouldn't surprise me if someone fell in love with Henderson. He's got a great attitude, and his pure speed and his ability as a receiver out of the backfield and his ability as a blocker, dude, that guy is going to be phenomenal in the NFL. His only weakness is that you don't really see him break a whole lot of tackles. You don't, right?
You think he's pretty much like a J.K. Dobbins type career?
Travion, I think he can be better than J.K. I think that we're talking about a guy that can be a top 5 running back. First of all, J.K. Dobbins had a chance of being one of the best running backs before he got hurt.
J.K. did have a chance of being.
Travion's phenomenal. He is the prototypical running back for the NFL that could step in and make a difference immediately. I gave him a 1st round grade. I don't think there's anything crazy about that. I did give Quinshon Judkins a 2nd round grade, Donovan, so it's not like I'm too far apart. But I do think that there's a clear difference. I think that Quinshon's a very strong runner. He's a power runner.
Very. I love it.
Yeah. But he had games where he did disappear. It was very clear who Ohio State relied upon when they needed it, and it was Travion. Take the Oregon game, for example. I mean, that was a Travion game. I think it was very clear who Ohio, I'm talking about the first game because when felt like Quinshon was pretty much non-existent that first time around in Eugene.
Both of them are good. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like Quinshon too, but he also never really like got better either. I don't know. It was just weird. Like watching his career arc, it was like you kind of always knew what to expect.
He reminds me a lot of, and I'm not going to compare him to him, but he kind of reminds me of Joe Mixon. Like if you take the best of Joe Mixon, the best of Quinshon Judkins, I feel like. Now, if you get the worst of Quinshon Judkins, backup running back, average backup running back. But he has some Joe Mixon in him to me.
I could see that. Chris, what were you going to say?
No, I can see what you're saying with Quinshon. You saw what Quinshon was very early in his career, and he stayed there, right? 100%. I mean, it's hard to improve upon what was already great. What was already the SEC Freshman of the Year, leading rusher, what have you. Will jumps in. He said he'd love to see Henderson go to Kansas City. He loves Henderson. Jeremy loves him. Hey, 0 fumbles, and he's a stud blocker. Is Travion Henderson. Yeah. And the best play is that screen right after the penalty. Yeah, hey, we saw Travion, react to that adversity. When it comes to Quinshon, I'm in the same. I'm a little less because of I think this draft. I think it's a deep running back draft. I think it's going to be hard to fuck up a running back pick this draft, especially in the first 4 rounds. Anything else after that, it's like, hey, you're just kind of picking and filling holes. I've got Judkins as a 3rd round grade, but a very early 3rd round. I'm talking the first 4 picks. And the 4 picks I've got for Judkins is 68 to Vegas, 73 to Vegas, both Chip Kelly being that new offensive coordinator, and 58 to Houston. That's right where I've got him, right there in that early 3rd round range for Quinshon.
Those would be good fits. I like those fits.
I dig those. Any last word? Jeremy jumps back in and says, "Hey, he's resilient." No, he is. I think a lot of people, he's a guy that goes in with an interview. He's, eating his vegetables, saying his prayers. He's a running back that runs, violently, but also plugs up a hole in blocks. What any NFL GM is looking for. We've got one wide receiver from the Buckeyes. We've got Emeka Egbuka. And you're going to hate this, but I think this is my only lock for a 1st round pick. I've got him a lot higher than a lot of people do, and I think it's just because of the versatility to do a lot of different things, not do everything great, but to do every single thing good. I can see Emeka Egbuka going as high as 12 to Dallas. That's my high one. Relax. 19 to Green Bay, and 22 to Harbaugh and the Chargers. Why I'm putting him that high is because of some of the news reports that have come out in this last week about these interview processes that Emeka Egbuka has had, and NFL GMs just be blown away with the level of maturity from this young man. So I think his draft stock is rising. I do think my picks are a little high. Maybe I'm being a little optimistic, being a Ohio State of Mind co-host here, but I'm a fan of Emeka Egbuka. If I need a receiver that I can put him anywhere on the field and have him do something, I'm picking him.
Donovan, what are your thoughts on Emeka Egbuka?
Yeah, I have Emeka Egbuka with a 1st round grade. I have him going to the Houston Texans. So they need another receiver, and I would like to see him and CJ together. I've actually been mocking him to Houston. The last 4 mocks I did, I had him to Houston. I think I had to drop in a little bit further in one earlier, but yeah, he came back and he's just solid. He's one of the safest picks in the draft. I think he'll have a really good career. I saw Robert Woods. Yeah, I mean, he could be better than him, but if your career ends up like Robert Woods, that long and that consistent, that's a hell of a career. So if that's his middle round. Yeah, Robert Woods. So good career. Robert Woods. I didn't think Robert Woods was 2nd round. I think I don't know if he was 1st.
So here's.
Yeah, but if you have a Robert Woods type, long though, man. Most people don't have that long of a career at all. I'm saying that's not his ceiling. He has a higher ceiling than Robert Woods. But if he has a Robert Woods career, you can't be mad at that, really.
I think
13 years so far.
I think if you pick him in the 1st round, you can. I think that I like Emeka Egbuka. It's so funny how things change. This is kind of like my Hakeem Butler of this year's draft class. Or Donovan, you remember when I was on your show when we did the draft predictions for Trey Sermon, and we did a draft recap show.
I love Trey Sermon too.
And I said I think Trey Sermon. I don't remember if I called him a bust, but I said I think Trey Sermon was a bad pick.
You did say that, and I disagree with you. Yeah, I was a big Trey Sermon guy.
He was never the bell cow, and he got all. It was so weird how his draft stock just blew up over the 2 good games that he had against Northwestern and Clemson, and it was absolutely mind-boggling. I love Trey Sermon, and that's where I feel like I'm out with Emeka Egbuka. Last year, I felt like I was the biggest Emeka Egbuka defender there was because everybody had already given Jeremiah Smith the crown, and I was sitting here going, whoa. Emeka Egbuka is going to leave the Scarlet and Gray with some goddamn records. Let's show some respect. But now you have these people talking about him being a top 15 pick. Well, if you're drafting a wide receiver in the first round, let's put it this way: if the Browns drafted Emeka Egbuka in the first round, I'm going to be pissed. Right? I gave 4.
Well, you guys have a number 2 pick, so yeah, of course you would be.
If they trade back and they draft him at all in the first round, I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh, okay.
I gave 4.
Yeah, because I said if you're getting just Robert Woods in the first, I guess you would be.
Yeah.
Pissed,
I gave 4 wide receivers a first round grade, and all of them do something special. T-Mac
if you're getting Rams Robert Woods though, you wouldn't be mad. But if you're taking his career, that's what I meant though. Like if you're getting the high, I mean Robert Woods had 2 back-to-back seasons with 1,000 yards and like 9 and 10 touchdowns.
But he was also.
But his career is. I get what you're saying with career, but the high of Robert Woods, you would take in the first round.
But he was also the dude at USC. That's what I'm saying. Let's look at this draft class.
Woods was a second-round pick though. He was picked 41. So
I gave 4 guys first-round grades. T-Mac is huge. Matthew Golden is faster. Luther Burden has better hands. Right? And then Travis Hunter is Travis Hunter.
Oh, Travis Hunter.
Why would you draft Emeka Egbuka over any of those guys? All those guys were number 1 receivers.
I don't think he
multiple years.
The only receiver I have over him is I have Emeka Egbuka over Luther Burden.
I don't understand the
other 3. I agree. I think Travis Hunter's a corner, but I mean the Browns will probably pick him as a receiver.
Why? I guess that's my concern about Emeka. It's like, why would you take a guy who's never been the number 1 receiver in the first round? It makes no sense to me. I love the
receiver he played with though. It's not like he was behind Scrubs. He was behind Jeremiah Smith and what's the other?
I didn't say
Maserati.
He also there's nothing. He doesn't do anything. That's everybody's scouting report of Emeka Egbuka. It's all the same. He's really good at a lot of stuff. He's a jack of all trades. Okay. Well, if I'm going to draft in the first round, I want you to be a master of something. I mean, what separates him? I have Jaden Higgins from Iowa State over him. What separates him? What separates him from Jaden Higgins from Utah State or Isaiah Bond from Texas? Why is he?
I think his route running is
Ohio State.
His route running is top tier in my opinion. That's what he's really good at. Especially in the middle of the field where a lot of guys are not developed. I think him playing so many downs and so obviously having so many catches, the most, I guess. He's an elite route runner. I think so. He's an elite. Oh, okay, you're not okay.
No, but I didn't say he was a scrub. But I gave him a second round grade because he's an elite route runner who can find space and beat the zone, right? But also he's slower than every Ohio State wide receiver the last 5 years. So and no one's talking about it. No one's talking about it, which is I just think it's right. Will says here, I don't think you draft a slot guy in the first round. Why would I don't get it's so.
I think he fits on Houston.
It's just so
I don't really know what they were. I guess Tank Dell's out for the season, right? Because he got hurt so late.
Yeah, Tank Dell. Yeah.
And I mean, I'll say this.
It depends what team. Yeah.
I'll say this. You got to think that Houston does not have a pick in this first round until 25. If they Houston doesn't address the offensive line, who is one of my picks here in a minute, I think they're going to have a bad season. If they go with 25 with that glaringly obvious weakness on the offensive line and CJ Stroud coming back for a 3rd year, and they don't address offensive line, I think they're in for trouble.
I think this line class is just deep, though. Like, the receiver class isn't – like, after the first, 6 or 7 guys, I think it's a huge drop-off. On receivers.
I disagree. I think that there's a ton of guys.
Because that receiver class last year, I mean, 7 first rounders, you're not going to have that in this.
No, you're not. You're not.
I mean, if you want to count Travis as a receiver, that's fine. And add him.
But there are 18 guys that you can draft in the first 2 days, and I'd be like, okay. right? I mean, they're that's the thing. It's like Emeka Egbuka. I mean, no one's even talking about Jaden Higgins at Iowa State, who's bigger and faster than Emeka Egbuka.
It depends what they do. It depends what they do with John Mechie, because I've been hearing they're going to trade him on draft night. So if they do that, I think that opens up a hole for Emeka. But if they don't and they keep him, because they did sign Christian Kirk, who I still think has a little bit of juice left. He's not going to be Christian Kirk of Cardinals or first-year Jags, but I still think he has a little juice. Obviously, you got Tank and Nico, but Tank's not coming back. They got Braxton Berrios, but that guy is a journeyman kind of returner type of guy. So I think they still need a receiver. But, yeah, you're right, though, Chris. They definitely need help on the offensive line. I know they did get Cam Robinson.
And they let Tunsil.
I don't know. We got Cam Robinson.
Right.
We got Cam Robinson, though. I mean, so.
Chris texted me. He let me know we need to move on. You need to.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
All right. It was a message for me too, Donovan. I'll 1 point. I'll make 1 point moving forward. One positive, one negative.
Yeah. Sorry. My bad.
I totally forgot this guy, and I know Donovan is going to totally destroy me. I forgot about G. Scott.
Oh, man.
I forgot about G. Scott. I didn't put G. Scott on my list. Josh, go right ahead with your grade on G. Scott.
G. Scott's not going to get drafted. Why would you draft G. Scott? He wasn't good at Ohio State. What are we doing here?
My God, Josh, come on.
Okay.
What are we doing? Who are you drafting him over?
I mean, no, he's at UDFA. He would priority UDFA. He'll get signed right after. He'll get
He
a text.
will. I don't know why. He'll get cut right after.
Well, he's the starting tight end at the national championship team. Of course, he's going to be on a roster at Ohio State. I mean, he can play. I mean, he can block. He can do special teams.
We'll see him.
Sure. He'll be. No, that's what I was going to say. He'll be in the UFL.
Yeah, he'll be playing. He'll be right next.
He'll get signed. He'll get signed immediately for sure. But he's not drafted.
If I'm thinking about G. Scott, I'm saying, hey, G. Scott is getting picked up right about when the Simpsons are starting Sunday night.
Yep.
Offensive line. We're going to start right off the rip. We've got Simmons. Simmons, he went out in that Oregon game, didn't play the rest of the year. Obviously, he's been working on the rehab, this, that, and third. It seems like a lot of different news outlets I'm reading have him as a surefire first-round pick. I graded him as a second-round pick. Like Donovan said, we were discussing just the last pick. I think that at 25, and it's Houston's only pick, they grab Josh Simmons at 25 in the first round.
So I agree. I give Simmons a first-round grade. I think he's my lock. If you asked me to, you said your lock was Egbuka. I think Josh Simmons, he looks like an offset. He looks like an NFL offensive tackle. He was absolutely elite at Ohio State. The only knock on his game is that injury. So that's why
medicals came back good too. So
yeah, elite, top-tier potential. I wouldn't surprise me if he was the first one off the board.
Yeah, he's my lock for Ohio State guys. Over at Emeka Egbuka, I have him as the number one Ohio State player. I have him going to the San Francisco 49ers at 11, and he fits that offense perfectly.
He does.
Yeah, and besides that injury, he would be the number one offensive tackle in the class, even over Will Campbell, who I love. I don't care about his short arms, but I would still have Josh Simmons. And he was good at San Diego State too, even before he got to Ohio State. So he's got great tape for years. And I have him first round grade lock.
100%.
Yes, Will. I said Houston. I had him at Houston at 25. Donovan Jackson. He played a little bit of guard, played a little bit of tackle. He's a big guy, and an NFL team's going to scoop him up and put him wherever he sees fit. He looked great at tackle in the playoffs as well. I have him as a second-round pick. And go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I've got him 43rd to the San Francisco 49ers. Lowest, I've got him at 48 to the Miami Dolphins.
So I gave Donovan Jackson a second-round grade. I think that what he showed in the playoffs, when they moved him to offensive tackle, it was game over. You knew that guy had the it factor, right? Because he dominated offensive tackle as well, other than against Abdul Carter. The only real flaw in his game is that, we saw this a lot last year, is that sometimes he does lose the hand battle. He's kind of slow off the ball. He's not the fastest guy off the ball. There are guys in the class that are faster that I think that alludes to a higher potential, like Tyler Booker from Alabama. But like I said, second round grade.
I have him late first, early second. My last mock draft, I had him going to the Kansas City Chiefs at 31. I think it's a perfect fit for them. They have still some pretty good offensive linemen. It'd be nice to have a versatile guy like that, and I think you fit in Andy Reid's offense really well. Who doesn't really? So he'll stay out of trouble because that's the only thing they've had trouble with in Kansas City is some guys staying in trouble, and injuries. But I think I could definitely see him going the second, but I have him going to the late first to Kansas City. And
I think there's just
his stock during the playoff was insane. I think he was probably looked as a third, fourth round guy, and he moved up to the late first, early second, or maybe mid second. Like Miami I had him in Miami in the beginning of their process, Chris, like you said, at 48 or whatever that pick is.
Yeah,
but I picked him up because I rewatched some of those games and like, damn, dude, he's legit. Like,
yeah, he's
versatile, and you need that now in today's NFL.
He's big too. He's very big. He's got very long arms for a guard too. He fits that. I think that I struggled with him in the first round grade because there's just a couple linemen that fit the mold of a star. I don't think you're playing him at tackle, despite what Ohio State fans think. And there's a couple of guys that fit that the prototypical guard thing better, like the kid from Alabama and the kid from Missouri. But whatever.
I think Donovan Jackson could be a Pro Bowler though, not a perennial one. A few.
No, I agree.
Yeah. I can see that. And okay, there you go. There's another one. The wild card of all of this, the Remington winner, Seth McLaughlin. Obviously, he went out mid-season as well. He stuck around, won him a ring as well. I've got Seth McLaughlin in a wide array of positions. I've got Seth McLaughlin anywhere from a third to a sixth round pick.
Okay.
I could see him going off the board earliest at 86 to the Chargers. I could see him go at 147 to Carolina. I could see him at 220 to New England. I don't know what the future holds for Seth McLaughlin. I don't know how any of these interviews with these pro teams are going, but hey, the verdict's out, and we'll find out come Thursday.
All right, here's my big one. You ready?
Listen,
I know he's not going to get drafted, but this is all about looking back. I know he's not going to get drafted this high, but this is all about looking back 3 years and being like, God damn, Josh called it. I'm giving him a first round grade. That dude is the best pass blocking interior lineman in the class. Okay. That dude he transformed a struggling Ohio State offensive line run. If he wasn't for that injury, he does lack a little ass. He lacks a little ass. He doesn't have the strongest anchor, but in the NFL, I feel like that comes secondary to being an elite pass blocker. Very quick flip. When you watch those guys and them getting off the line, he doesn't have those issues, dude. And he was great, man. He was really great. If you go back and watch those early games before he got hurt, I think that's a dude who's going to be a Pro Bowler. I think somebody's going to get a starter immediately that's going to do some goddamn damage at the center position.
Hey, Will agrees with you. Seth could be a sleeper. Donovan, what do we think?
Man, it's crazy. I watched Seth at Buford in high school. I remember watching him and interviewing him. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for all these guys I was able to talk to like in high school. It's just weird seeing him like 16-year-old Seth, and now he's about to get drafted at 23 or whatever he is. I'm a big fan of him. I have a third round grade on him, third to fourth, somewhere around there. He's solid though. He's another guy. There's a lot of Ohio State guys that are just solid and like not bust. I know he's not gonna be bust. Like I'm just saying, like he's a solid guy. Like he's safe pick is what I'm trying to say. He'll have a solid career, a long career, like 10, 12-year career and start 7, 8 seasons. I don't have him besides Josh, but I see the vision, Josh. I see the vision. He can be that. He has a little bit more upside than people think. I think that's where you're going. But a lot of people, for everything I've read about him, it's like, oh, he's just a safe pick. I'm like, he's a little bit more than a safe pick. But I would say he's a third to fourth round guy to me. There's a couple guys that have over my position, but he's a good pick.
People sleep on the center is the quarterback of the offensive line. People sleep on intelligence, a great attitude, and quickness and athleticism at that position. And he has all those. He's an elite Corey Linsley did the same thing. Slipped through the draft. No one drafted him, and then he was the highest paid center in the NFL for like 3 years. You know what I mean? I don't know why not a lot of people are talking about McLaughlin. And I've talked to a couple guys in the scouting circles, and they say that he's kicking ass as far as interviews go. Like he's just got an infectious attitude. But we can move on, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, hey, yourself, me, Donovan, Will, Jeremy, everybody in the chat, we're going to manifest that first round pick with you. We're going to come together and we're going to manifest that.
Someone's going to get a stud, I'm telling you. Someone's going to get a starter.
No,
the Commanders have brought him in twice, I believe, or visited him twice. So that could be maybe not the first, but
yeah. Crazy, we might have 2 first round, a high number draft in the later rounds and dominate the playoffs. Heck, Michigan may have 3 first rounders. Yeah, they very might well. They might have a 4th. Yeah, you're absolutely
Graham,
right.
Grant, Loveland, and Will Johnson. But all right, I'm sorry, Chris. I keep distracted.
We're going to the defensive line. We've got Tyleik Williams, JTT, Jack Sawyer, and Ty Hamilton.
Do defensive ends first. Defensive
ends. Hey, we've got JTT. We've got Jack Sawyer. I think that JTT was always that roller coaster for us Buckeye fans. It was kind of like, hey, he's had an amazing game for us. Oh, hey, he's jamming a hot fire poker in our buttholes, not doing anything for 6-7 weeks. I obviously in the playoffs, you could see the change on defense when he was in the game, when he was out of the game. I think his stock through the playoffs only rose. I do think that he's going to be hindered by a pretty good edge class in the draft this year. I've got JTT as high as 39th. So that's a 2nd to a 3rd round grade. I got him at 39 to Chicago, 56 to Buffalo, or possibly 54 to Green Bay. 2nd or 3rd round grade on JTT.
So this is another guy that I know is probably not going to get drafted this high. I did give him a 1st round grade. As far as ceiling goes, when it was hard evaluating these defensive linemen because they ran that awkward pass rush. But when you got to see him do his thing, he did a great job. He's not he has no counter moves. Once you get your hands on him, he's done. It's game over. But he doesn't have any speed moves either. But his bull rush, his length, his size, and his frame, he might be able to pack on another 15 pounds. I think he's versatile enough too to be able to move to the interior on some of the later downs if they needed to. You can move him around. I think someone's going to fall in love with him. I don't think we saw the best JTT at Ohio State because he was underutilized and the scheme didn't allow for it, but I think he's a 1st rounder. I think there's a big difference between his ceiling and Jack Sawyer's ceiling. I really do believe that. And if you look at some of I know you said it's a good edge class, but some of these guys got real issues. Abdul Carter with his injury, James Pierce Jr. severely undersized, Shamar Stewart and Nick Scourton, they played on the same team and neither one of them were super productive, right? So why is JTT the odd man? I also have him the least ranked out of all those, but it wouldn't surprise me if a team fell in love with him and took him over those guys.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Donovan?
JTT I have a 2nd round grade on. I think my last mock draft I had him pick 60 to Detroit. I think that's a good fit for him. And I have him a little bit higher where I think he's going to go. I think I had him as like an early mid-2nd round, and that's late 2nd round, but I think 2nd round grade on him. And everything Josh said is true. I mean, I think that he definitely needs to put on a little weight. That's definitely a concern. But
he's like 270 though. I don't think he has to, but I think he could. I think he's got.
Is he 270 now? I thought he was playing at like 260, but if he's 270, that's definitely.
It's definitely the wingspan that's the illusion. Yeah.
Some of these guys' weight at the combine was different from what they played at, so it's like I might be wrong. I don't know because some of these guys, they played at like Shamar Stewart, like he was not as. Light, not neat. He lost like 17 pounds.
Yeah.
But JTT, if he's around 270, 280, that's fine. But I still have a 2nd round grade on him, which is fine. Like a lot of these Ohio State guys that if you have noticed, I'll have a 2nd round grade on, which is just a bunch of guys that are really good.
This is Chris, we got Sawyer.
Jack Sawyer, again, I've got him as a 3rd to a 4th round. I got him behind JTT. Okay. I could see Sawyer going as early as 3rd round 65 to the New York Giants. I could see him at 69 to New England. They like that, you don't have to say white athletic superstars and say New England. And then of course, the lowest, my basement for Jack Sawyer, 167 to Tennessee. So I got a 3rd to a 4th round grade.
So I gave Jack Sawyer a 2nd round grade. I think he's right behind JTT. I think he's in that 2nd tier. I don't think you're wrong, right? Like I said, I tried to get grade upwards instead of downwards. He is, in my opinion, he's the best pass rusher He's one of the best. He's a very underrated passer. I think he's one of the better pass rushers in the draft class that no one's really talking about because he's consistent. The other guys that they keep calling these elite pass rushers, other than Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter's a freak, but he's hurt. He's been hurt. No one did it as consistently as Jack did. He's got more moves than JTT does. So, but here's why. But again, so I think that Sawyer's maxed out frame wise. Okay, he is what he is. I think he's closer to a ceiling than a guy like JTT and some of these like Scourton and Shamar Stewart. He's closer to a ceiling already, right? Yeah. And he's really stiff. Now we've seen a lot of stiff guys that can't bend have success in the NFL. George Karlaftis, Gregory Rousseau for the Buffalo Bills out of Miami. So I don't think that's going to hinder him. I think that he can still be very productive. Trey, he's very much of the same category as Sam Hubbard or Trey Hendrickson as far as his athleticism goes. So I don't think that the stiffness is going to hurt him, but it definitely, you have to take that into account when you talk about someone's potential, right? Because the elite of the elite pass rushers like Myles Garrett have that just insane bend, right? And that's what you see from a lot of those guys. And we see JTT, sometimes he does have a very, very good bend when he needs to have it, right? And some of those guys, Abdul Carter probably has the best bend in the class. But that's where I'm at with Sawyer. Donovan, what do you think?
I had a second round grade on Jack Sawyer, but I have him going pick 69 to the New England Patriots. I think he falls a little bit because there's just guys that fall. I'm not saying it's right. Sometimes what I say is just what I think and hear, what people are going to do. And I know guys like him fall sometimes because he is stiff, because he doesn't have much upside, because he is not uber athletic like some of the other guys. I'm not saying that's a problem for me. I'm just saying that's where the NFL is. So I think 69 is okay in going to the Patriots. So that's a good system for him, a good fit. And I do have a second round grade on him. So, and I mean, Jack Sawyer's career speaks for itself. Obviously, Texas game stands out obviously the most.
And guys with his level of athleticism make a lot of money and make plenty of Pro Bowls. Yeah. So I don't think it has to limit him. And another thing that really stands out in comparison to some of these other flashier pass rushers, he never gets dominated. He never really truly gets beat, right? Sometimes he's stalemated. He never gets beat. And he doesn't like overrun plays. Like you see a lot of guys kind of abandon and go straight for the pass rush every play. He doesn't do that. He can very much go down and crash and disrupt the run game. He's not just going to leave you out on an island like some of these pass rushers go. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at.
I'm definitely with you, Donovan. I think the third round at pick 69 for New England. Obviously, you got Mike Vrabel as the new head coach. You also have him fill the vein of Mike Vrabel or maybe like a Rob Ninkovich. The Patriots like that type of defensive end. But we're going to the defensive tackles. We've got Tyleik Williams. We've got Ty Hamilton. I think Tyleik Williams is the guy we're going to start with. We think this guy is a stud. I think it's a consensus that a lot of people are picking him when it comes to these defensive tackles for the Buckeyes. He'll be the first one off the board. Yeah. Tyleik, I've got him as a second and third round grade. I got him as early as 36 to Donovan's Jacksonville Jaguars. I've got him 40 at Minnesota or 56 to Buffalo.
So I like Tyleik. I know he's probably not going to go in the first round. I'm not going to say that. I think there's a chance he goes in the first round. I gave him a first round grade. I think this is a dude who starts in the NFL immediately. I think he makes an impact. He's got the size to handle his shit. He's got a great anchor. He's got a great burst off the ball. We've seen him dominate games. We have seen, kind of like Donovan Jackson, we've seen him when he does lose battles, he loses it with his hands. You know what I mean? Like his hands are a little bit, he can get beat or he can be slow with his hand usage. Not all the time. But when he gets beat, that's typically what it is. But I like Tyleik. I think someone's going to get him and turn him into a star.
Will likes him with the Bengals.
I hope not.
Yeah, I have a second on him as well. Like I said, that'd be a recurring thing for me. If you can't tell, I have a second round grade on him. What Josh said is true. With some of his hand usage, that's his weaknesses for sure. And his arms are a little bit shorter than the average interior defensive lineman. But no, I like him. I think he's going to be a solid starter in the NFL. And I could see the Bengals taking him in the second, definitely not the first. But I don't think they would take him that high. It's way too high. But I have him around like the 40s, 50s, mid-second on him. And I think, really we mentioned JTT and Jack and Ty. Yeah, all those guys they're all top 100 guys. Pretty much everybody have names except G. Scott, I guess, right? Top 100 guys. Donovan Jackson, Josh Simmons.
Yeah.
Howard to have a little bit outside the top 100, but other than that, yeah.
Chris, what do you got on Ty Hamilton?
Ty Hamilton. I've got Ty Hamilton as a 5th to 6th round pick. I've got
How
sorry.
dare you, dude?
I've got Ty Hamilton as early as 156 to Pittsburgh or 203 to Baltimore. Go ahead.
How dare you? How dare you, bro? Well, now I want to know. I want to know Donovan's opinion before I shoot my mouth off because I want to see if I'm in the minority this much.
I have a 4th round grade on him. Yeah, I have a 4th round grade. I haven't gone to Jacksonville actually. Yeah, I have a 4th round grade on him. I think he's like a solid 4th round, early day 3 pick. He's gonna be, when we roll in at noon Eastern, and they have that big board available on day 3. He's gonna be one of the top names. He'll go early in the top 10, 15 picks in the 4th round. But that's about where I stand with him. I can see him going late 3, 3rd round. Doesn't get past round 5. So he's right in that range.
I gave him a 3rd round grade. This is a dude that's going to start in the NFL. I think that the defensive line, people get lost in, this guy rushes the passer. This is the next Aaron Donald. There is still an art in being a fat ass that can't be moved, baby. You know what I mean? No, Max will not be making an appearance. Thank God. If you guys remember Big Daddy.
Draft class?
Huh?
What's his draft class going to be? 2047?
Is that right? 2047?
I'm just pulling it out of my ass. Go ahead.
Oh, I was like, who's Max? Your son.
my child, my spawn.
Yeah.
But
shout out Max Heatley, baby.
But if you guys remember Big Daddy Dana Wilkinson towards the end of his career when he was in his 40s and on his 8th team, he was just an immovable object. Jonathan Hankins is like that too. Jonathan Hankins was really good with the Giants, and then he just became an immovable object with the Raiders. There is an art in not being able to be moved off the ball. Now, I don't have him as a 1st round grade or a 2nd round grade because he with that said, he doesn't move forward either. Like he's got no pass rushing ability at all, but he doesn't get moved. So I did give him a 3rd round grade. I'd love if the Browns drafted him. And you guys are talking about the 5th and 6th. My God, I'll take that shit. Yeah, and there's a lot, and it's hard to find people with that body type. There's just, if you look at this draft class, they're all kind of gap splitters. So.
Okay. We're through the defensive line. We're gonna go to linebackers. We've got Cody Simon. Cody Simon, our Rose Bowl MVP, our Block O recipient. I've got Cody Simons. I'm going on a trend with Josh's round predictions here. He's going to fucking hate me for this one too. I've got Cody Simons as a 5th, 6th round pick. I've got him as early as 134 to Philadelphia, 153 to Cincinnati, or 222 to Las Vegas, back with Chip Kelly.
So I really tried to do a good job. Every year I try to do my my draft rankings. I think that gives you the most honest take too. What a lot of fans do is they look at their guy and they go, "Well, that guy's really good. He's going to go in the 1st round," without understanding that there's 35 other dudes that are out there that are really good. Like for instance, with the defensive tackles, I ranked 32 defensive tackles. I didn't get a chance to get all the way through my linebacker grade. So that's half the problem is I don't know what else is out there. I know Jalen Walker, George is out there. John Campbell from Alabama is out there. He's not in that tier. Schweizer from UCLA, he's not in that tier. Stutzman from Oklahoma, he's not in that tier. The kid from South Carolina, the kid from Ole Miss, the kid from Clemson, he's not in that tier. I know that, but those are the top tiers, right? I don't really know what's in that middle, right? I don't know where Cody Simon is compared to Sean Dolak because I haven't watched enough Sean Dolak to give you a fair assessment. So do I think Cody Simon can go in the 3rd round based off of what we've seen from former Ohio State linebackers with his athletic profile? I think that he can. I certainly think he can. He's got a great attitude. He was Rose Bowl MVP. He certainly improved throughout the year. He's shown he's healthy. This is a former 4-star recruit that has all the athletic ability to do it in the NFL. And I think he's versatile. I think he could play both inside and outside fairly effective. And he played a lot better than Steel Chambers last year. In Steel Chambers, I know he had a cup of coffee in the NFL and he's dominating the UFL. So there's something to be said for that as well. So I don't think you're off base, Chris, because I don't think that he's going to be a day 1 guy, right? I don't, and I think when I say he might hit the 3rd round, I think that that's very fringe. I think that that's like if everything goes his way and someone falls in love with his personality and only watches the Rose Bowl.
Okay.
He doesn't do anything good. That's the problem with Cody Simon. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything at an elite level. He's just okay at everything.
Okay.
Donovan, where you at with Cody
Yeah,
Simon?
I mean, like a lot of these Ohio State guys, shorter arms. You know, I think the last 3 or 4 guys we named kind of like shorter arms, but he doesn't do anything great, but he's technically sound. I think he plays well in space. I think he can play 3 downs, which is when you're getting a guy. I have a 4th and 5th round grade on him, Chris, as well. I have a 4th, 5th on him. So I would probably say late 4th, early 5th. He's a guy you want to bring into your camp because he's like a veteran, even though he's going to be 23 years old. He's going to have that leadership. He'll be a guy that is a locker room leader as a freshman, as a almost said true freshman. Damn, so you tell him a college guy, but as a rookie, he's gonna have that veteran leadership. And if somebody falls in love with this personality, which I think they will, that's one of his best attributes: is his leadership skills and his ability just to play all 3 downs. And he can, special team guy for sure. He's going to be a damn good special teamer to start off with. And I think he can eventually go into a role where he does start some games, but he's like a spot starter more so than a start on a really good defense already. That's good. I mean, he's not going to be a first round pick like Josh said. He's just not that talented. But he's a 4th, 5th round guy, and he's a guy I definitely want on the Jags, man, to bring in that locker room. And to just make tackles because the Jags they had the most missed tackles of any team last year. So I want them on our team to just tackle and play in space.
And we've seen linebackers that aren't as good as him go high. I mean, Jerome Baker was drafted relatively high. I would say Cody Simon's probably better. You know what I mean? Like there has been a hit. That's the only reason why I say I could see him going in the 3rd, because it's like he's not bad at anything. He's just not great at anything. You're not going to, you know what I mean? In the 3rd round is kind of when you're pulling the trigger on a guy that's like, all right, I know this guy's going to make the roster. I know he's going to play, right? Cody Simon's going to play.
That's exactly what he is. He's going to make it doesn't matter what team, 32 teams he's making the roster.
He's going to play. Yeah. He's going to be in the rotation.
Yeah.
All right. And now moving lastly to the secondary, we've got Denzel Burke, we got Lathan Ransom, and we've got who was the nickel that went out, Josh?
Hancock.
Jordan Hancock. Yes, you're absolutely right. Who we want to go with? Burke? Burke's probably the consensus guy, yeah?
Yeah, let's go with Denzel Burke. What you got?
We're gonna go Denzel Burke. I've got him as a 3rd to a 4th round pick. I've got him as early as 100 to San Francisco, 119 to Cincinnati, or 174 to the Dallas Cowboys. Denzel Burke.
I agree with you. I'm not going to argue that. Again, this is once I got past the defensive line, the baby took over. So I don't have I haven't ranked out my cornerbacks, but that's about right. When we look at the history of cornerbacks, he kind of fits that profile. He's really aggressive. He makes a lot of he doesn't miss tackles. He can blitz. So if someone might draft him, put him in the nickel, blitz him like they used to do with Antoine Winfield. They do with Antoine Winfield Jr. now. You know what I mean? He comes downhill quickly. And he covers well. This is a former freshman All-American, developed into a very strong player for Ohio State. His problem is that he gets beat by double moves. He gets lost. I don't think it's because he's physically incapable. That's why I would give him a 3rd round grade. I think he can turn into a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think he just gets lost, and I don't really know why. So if a coaching staff can fix that, you got yourself a quality starter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have a 3rd round grade on him as well, Chris. Me and Chris are like had an eye on all these pretty much. I think we can all of them. Yeah, I have a 3rd round grade on him. Obviously, he's the guy coming in the season. Most people had like a 1st round grade on it. He was one of their top corners, but fell a little bit. But good zone corner, started all 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, or at least 3.5, right? At Ohio State.
Yeah, no, he started all 4. He started all 4,
right? Yeah. So a lot of experience, and I mean that's another guy. The Packers. I know Brendan Rupp did a Packers Wire. He did a report on him being a mock draft 3rd round to the Packers. That would be a good team for him to go to. A little zone there, and just doesn't have to be the 1 or 2 guy. You know what I mean? He can play in that slot, play in that dime. So I like him 3rd round. Another solid. Ohio State's got a lot of guys that are just. Denzel Burke's going to play a long time in this league.
I think so too.
And start some games. Yeah.
Say again.
You want to do Hancock next, since we all probably have him rated in the corner as cornerback as well.
Yeah, I've got him as a corner as well. I've got him in the 4th round. I think I've got him. Okay, I'm willing to listen. I've got him at a fourth round. I've got him going to a team who had a myriad of injuries all season last year. I think he could come and take some snaps for pick 102 with the Detroit Lions.
Whoever drafts Jordan Hancock in the fourth round is going to be severely disappointed. That's
okay.
He was the number 3 cornerback. He was, I don't even know if, yeah, I mean, he was a guy that was the number 3 option at Ohio State. I love Hancock. Listen, I paid him $40 to sign this mini helmet over here. Super nice kid, got a great attitude. He's going to make an NFL roster. Going to be a very solid player. I gave him a 6th-round grade though.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how you can draft a guy who just wasn't one of the dudes. He very much like Cody Simon as a corner, like only just the cornerback version, where there's not like one thing that he didn't do well, but he wasn't great at anything either. I was really surprised by his pro day numbers because I didn't think he was that athletic. So maybe that's why you gave him a 4th-round grade, because maybe that's why he does get drafted that early.
That was my big thing was I saw his pro day and everybody kind of just clutched their pearls when they saw those pro day numbers. Like, wow, hey, he could have at any time jumped in at one of those 2 spots for Igbenos and Denzel Burke. I think he's going to be a quality nickel and dime guy in the NFL.
I would be shocked because you see quality nickels go in this 5th, 6th round all the time. Who's the guy? Kenny Moore from the Indianapolis Colts. You know what I mean? Like that's where you draft those guys because I don't think you can. If Ohio State didn't play him on the outside, what does Bill Carroll always say, Donovan? If he didn't do it in college, why would you expect him to do it in the NFL, right? And he didn't play.
Not true all the time, but sometimes it is. Yeah.
When is it not true though? When is it not true? When has somebody done something well?
Josh Allen never. Well, Bill's analogy for that always was Josh Allen can't just get accurate, and then now, I mean, yeah, okay, MVP. So, but that's just one example. But I love Bill Carroll. That's just someone always giving. He's like he'll never be an accurate quarterback. Well, I mean, okay, it happens sometimes, especially nowadays, man. I like Jordan. That's another guy I interviewed. He's from Georgia. Shout out North Gwinnett High School. But I have a 4th, 5th-round grade on him. I think he has a lot of upside, actually. He's a prospect. He was on my all-upside list.
God damn.
I think that he didn't reach his full potential, but he still has a lot of upside with his athleticism and his age. I know he played at Ohio State for 4 years, but he's a true 22-year-old, not some guy that's like – a lot of these guys, it's just like you don't know how old they are because like, they might have played 4 years, but they've been in college for 6 or 7 and transferred here and there and junior college, blah, blah, blah. But I like his upside. He's still a 4th or 5th-round grade to me, but I like Hancock. Yeah, I like it. I actually just watched the cornerbacks last weekend, so he's one of the guys I actually was like, okay. But he's also one of the guys I'm like, man, he gives you a headache for sure. You don't want him definitely being your like 2 or 1, obviously not the 1. But there's some things I like about him. There's some traits there for sure. And yeah, his pro day impressed the hell out of me. I didn't think he was that athletic.
Me neither. I will agree with that. All right, so last one, Chris, Lathan Ransom.
We've got Lathan Ransom, our lone safety. Josh and I, we talk about Lathan Ransom all year long. That dude, you can ask him to run through a brick wall and he'll do it, and just ask if you want him to do it again. He did everything anybody on that coaching staff did. I've asked him to. I think anybody on any of these NFL teams see a player that has that kind of grit and tenacity. I got Lathan Ransom as a 3rd, 4th round grade. I could see him going as high as 90 to Philadelphia, 120 to Tennessee, or 133 to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. I haven't given him a true grade because I haven't ranked the safeties yet. I mean, obviously he's not going to be a 1st rounder. I could see someone falling in love with his play style and draft him in the 2nd. This is a former 4 or 5-star guy that didn't let up, dealt with some injury issues and overcame that. He's a very big guy. He uses his size well. He comes down, he will hit you in the mouth. He provides great run support, can be an in the box safety, which is kind of a lost art in the NFL. But he does struggle in pass coverage. Pass coverage is not what he's good at, and it's the NFL. So I can see what you're saying. So I think I would give him a 2nd-round grade, but what you're saying doesn't surprise me. I don't think we're that far off on that.
Okay.
I have him as a 3rd third round grade for me, just because. Man, this was like 2005. He would probably be a first rounder, but the way he plays is a little scary. That straight line speed's not good and struggles, vertical game. But love. I mean, wait, he's like 6'1.5", 210 around there.
I thought he was 6'1" straight up.
Oh, might be 6'1", 210, 208 around there. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I like him. He's a third round guy to me. He's a solid third round guy. I could see him going late second, highest. Probably drops no further than fourth. He's kind of I've seen him all over the place there. I've seen guys have him in the fifth, and I've seen guys have him in the late second. So he's one of those guys that kind of splits the room a little bit, but I would say third. To me, I'm probably a little bit maybe higher on him than most. I mean, most times I've seen him third, fourth. So I guess I'm right in the middle.
I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with the third round stuff. Like I said, I
Philly would be a good fit, Chris. Too. That was a good one. I like that.
I like that his play style, his mentality fits that organization. Now, gentlemen, before we adjourn, I've got to ask. We're fans of 3 different NFL franchises. Josh, Cleveland Browns, second pick. Who do you want? Who do you think they're going to draft? And who's the dark horse of it all?
I think I would want, gun to my head, Travis Hunter.
Okay.
The Browns just need somebody good.
Okay.
He's got to be good at something, right? Maybe he's not going to be elite receiver. He's not my number one receiver, but he's honestly probably not my number one cornerback either. But he's going to be good at something, right? He might be elite at both, probably not, but he's going to be good at something. I'm just trying to cut the odds in half, dude. I don't want Shador, bro. That's my worst fear. I think Shador is good, but I don't think that this would be a good fit for him. That's my luck is they draft Shador and have another Baker Mayfield situation, or I don't know. It just doesn't work out. So I would go Travis.
Yeah, Baker, man. Wouldn't be in this situation. I'm just
they should have hung on to Baker, yeah.
I get why, dude. When y'all got Deshaun, I was happy too, dog. Because I thought you were going to get Texans Deshaun. So
I fucking knew that was going to be bull. I knew when they made that trade, I was like, this is a bad move, dude.
I mean, Deshaun was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, dude. He was like, probably top 3 for the last year, honestly.
Yeah, no, he was good, but he was hurt and he was suspended. He had that viral video of him blocking Mia Khalifa from playing basketball in his apartment after he got massages. It was just the things were adding up to not be a great equation. The writing was on the wall. I'm shocked that he didn't play very well ever again. Like, you know what I mean?
It's crazy though, because when I went to the Browns-Jags game, that was his best game of the season. He played great. That you guys beat us in Jackson. Remember that game was raining? I was at that game. And that was the only good game the whole season. I was like, God damn it, Deshaun Watson. Excuse me, language. Sorry, I can curse. Okay, I forgot. Yeah,
you're saying they're grabbing Travis Hunter. Anywhere else in this alignment of picks that the Cleveland Browns have, who would you like them to see pick up? Any pick anywhere? Who's a player you want to see on that wearing that brown and orange?
Dude, I tell you what, if we're talking about Ohio State guys, I would be pretty stoked if somehow TreVeyon Henderson landed to them in the second round, or even if they trade up for him to snag him in the first, I'd be all for that. I think TreVeyon is a difference maker. I think he transforms the offense. I've already said it all, man. But that would be the Buckeye that I would be really, really excited for them to trade up for.
Okay.
Snag some.
Donovan.
I was like, I guess it's hard for Josh to answer that because they picked 2, so there's only so many options they're gonna have, right? Like, they're not gonna fuck it up and pick like some. I don't know who would you. I have a question for Joshua Fast. Who would you be? You said Shador. You'd be mad if they picked him at 2, but who's like a real?
I wouldn't be mad. But I would do that thing like, well, Shador's okay. You know what I mean? Like it's like because when you draft a quarterback.
Wait, how about this? How about this? And what if they traded out of the pick? Would you be pissed or no?
No, I think that would be the best. If they traded back and they got like a badass offensive tackle, if they traded back and were able to get an offensive tackle, a wide receiver, like a running back, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and Chris, to answer your question, I only wanted to ask Josh the trade thing because I know the Jags, they're definitely trying. I feel like they're actually trying to trade the pick. I just don't think they'll get a good enough offer for what they want
Right.
with a new GM, and they're trying to build a new roster and everything. I mean, Mason Graham just seems like the pick to me. It's kind of been written in the stars for Mason Graham to be on that front line with Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen and those boys up front, and Hamilton and everybody. So, like, I think that's the pick. I wouldn't be mad at Genty. He's from Jacksonville. I know he's a military kid, but his bio from Boise State says he's from Jacksonville, from Duval. So that would be a great pick. I just think with Tank Bigsby and ETN, they're going to have to move on. They probably will move on from ETN. Or just have all three. ETN's pretty much a damn receiver anyway. So I wouldn't be mad at those two picks. And then they need help up front, man. And I don't like Armand Mimbo at all.
Really?
No. So, and I wouldn't pick. I know people say maybe pick him. No, absolutely not. That would be my biggest fear is they picked him.
I don't like when people say he's going to be a tackle because it's like, bro, that guy's not going to be a tackle.
He's not a tackle. No. If you want to move at guard, he's a little bit better at guard. I like him a little bit more. People are just saying he's a day one starter at left tackle. I'm like, no, he's not. Absolutely.
No. I agree with you there. He's a guard.
We need help up front. I would love to get Simmons. We were just talking about Josh Simmons, right? I would love to speak in Ohio State, but you got to move back from you. Don't take him at 5. But the Jags don't pick again to the early 30s, obviously. So and then 2/3. So if they can figure out a way to move back to get Josh Simmons, I would love that too.
I hope not.
I think corner. I think we're okay at. We're just young. And then safety. I don't think it's just weird. 5 is such a weird spot because in a perfect world, Travis Hunter, I want him on the Jags too, but like we're not going to get Travis Hunter unless we move up. And I just don't see this new GM that's so analytic guy, Gladstone, moving up to get Travis Hunter. I would love it, but I just don't think that's going to happen unless the Browns can. The Browns going to ask for so much, you know what I mean? Or the Giants, either one. Like so.
I think that the every year there's a generational talent. I think that the guy that would be most shocked if he was a bust would have Abdul Carter. I mean, I've seen that guy in person a couple times, and he's just an absolute unit, an absolute freak, absolutely explosive. I know he had an Achilles injury.
Is that your player one?
Oh, dude, yeah. I think if he was at least a solid starter for 10 years, I would be blown away. Like if the Browns drafted him, I would be so stoked. I don't think the Browns don't need him. It would make.
That'd be cool with Miles. I'd be so scared to be trying to cover Miles or guard Myles Garrett, and
it would be nasty. It would be nasty.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Yeah, but yeah, the Jags. Well, who's your team, Chris? I thought you were a Browns fan. You're not.
I'm a Pats fan. I've got all the.
Yeah, you did say that.
I got all this Boston shit on the wall, and
you guys picked right before us, then, so we're all picking because you picked 2. Our pick's gonna depend off what you guys do, really, because everybody's saying Will Campbell for you guys.
No, I
that's exactly.
I anticipate Will Campbell going at 4. I could see the Patriots being the Patriots and trading down like they always do, and picking up some some guy that stands in the drive-through like a Chick-fil-A holding the iPad. I could see. I mean, I'd love to see
Ray Zabel from North Dakota State.
Exactly. I mean, who's before him? Cole Strange. No one heard of. But Cole Strange had a great year. I'd love, like Josh said, I'd love to see Abdul Carter. I think Abdul Carter is foolproof for this draft.
God, it feels like it, right?
It does. I could see something crazy happening. Being the Patriots, I could see that at 4 they would do some kind of crazy overreach and they'd go with Ashton Genty at 4. I could see that too, which is kind of wild to me. I could see Vrabel wanting to build something off that offense his first year, kind of like in Tennessee with Derrick Henry. But I mean, if I wanted to take a Buckeye on this team, I would love to see if Emeka Buka's sitting there at the second round, because he's signing Stephon Diggs after a very, very bad fucking knee injury and being as old as he is. And of course, the Patriots paying him a substantial amount. I'd like to have that security there, but I don't think any of the Patriots receivers are any damn good.
He's dating Cardi B now too. That's like a red flag.
Hey,
no disrespect to Cardi B, but just seems like a lot of drama with Stephon off the. I've seen him more in like the like World Star Hip Hop and like DJ Vlad stuff going on like off the field. I've seen him in Stephon Diggs is all over like the tabloids because he's stepping out on his boy's girl Offset from he's dating Cardi B. That's a red flag, right, for the Patriot crew. You guys don't like that stuff down up there.
Oh well, when the coach comes in like, hey, no more phones and hats in team meetings. Like that wasn't the standard before. Like, oh fuck, it's worse than I thought. So who knows? Like I said, I think Will Campbell's a lock. I'd love to see Abdul Carter fall into 4. I should be more pissed if I'd bat an eye if he were to go Ashton Genty, but I'd love to have Emeka Buka, or if they could go ahead and get Donovan Jackson in the second round. I'd love that too.
I'm with you on the Will Campbell take too. It would be really hard for me to envision a world where Will Campbell's a bust. He may not be, an all-pro player, but I don't know how he's not at least good. You know what I mean? Like he should start for 10 years in the NFL and be very solid. Yeah. At the worst, I think very high floor. I would assume. Yeah, is my assumption.
Yeah, I like Will Campbell a lot. I like him. I think the Giants, man, that's the wild card. I don't think the Browns are gonna fuck up at 2. But I feel like the Giants, if they pick some, that you might be getting lucky, dude, and get Abdul Carter. If they pick some random ass dude, which they might, you might get lucky, and we might get lucky too, because the Giants are a wild card. I think the Browns will play it. The Browns are gonna pick Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, but I think the Giants might skip one of those guys if they have with their pick.
I can see that.
I can see them drafting Jackson Dart at 3. Then you would be in goal. Then you get Abdul Carter. There you
go. I'm gonna put a little flame to this fire, and I know it's gonna piss Josh off, but I'm gonna agree with Donovan. A lot of mock drafts have been coming out in the last 48 hours. We know that New Orleans needs a quarterback, and New Orleans had a second meeting with Jackson Dart today.
Dude, I just don't get
at 9. At 9.
That's my last mock draft. I had him at 9 to New Orleans 2, but I want him to go to the Steelers. I just think that's a better fit for him, but we'll see. I think he might go from he's the wild card of the draft. Shedeur and Jackson are both the wild cards of the draft.
I would take Jalen Milroe over Jackson Dart every single time. Every single time.
That's wild.
Dude, Jackson Dart's release is not I don't think Jackson. I
like Jalen too. I like Jalen more than most people.
I gave Jackson a second round grade. It's not like I hate him. It's just like I don't know.
Jalen's just I mean, I love him, but man,
when that dude's on, he's on. When that dude's on, he's on.
When Jackson's
on, he's
when Jackson's on, he's on.
When's he on?
He wasn't. There was 2 or 3 games. Everyone talks about the Florida game. I get it. Okay, it's dude, we only.
He's okay. I feel bad. I don't want to show. I would take Jackson Dart over Will Howard. I have Jackson Dart. He's my number 4.
Florida game really impressed me with Jackson Dart, and it's not his best tape per se, numbers wise. The Georgia game where Austin Simmons came in for a little bit, and Jackson got hurt, and he came back in and made some really tough throws in the rain. Man, I know it was at home. It wasn't a real game, but versus that defense, versus all these dudes that are going to get drafted in the first round, Michael Williams and Starks and Jalen Walker and the 12 other 5-stars on Georgia. And he made so many damn plays with his legs and just pocket throws where Georgia was containing him. He still was able to make plays and be tough, come back in that game hurt. That was a game I'm like, man. But then you might get a Florida game in there for sure. He's a high risk, high reward. But I think he's had a lot of good games, man. I mean, obviously, the Duke game is just I was at that game. It's Duke. I get it. But, oh, my God. The throws he made. That's, first overall tape.
So was Kenny Guyton against Florida A&M.
Yeah, but, I mean, Jackson Dart pretty much every week, man. He only had, 4 or 5 bad games his career at Ole Miss.
I will say I will say that his scrambling ability is underrated. Because he doesn't. It's not that he takes off. It's that the way he moves within the pocket. I don't think that can be matched. You know what I mean? Jalen Milroe takes off. Everybody keeps talking about how great of an athlete he is, and he is. He's a great athlete. But he doesn't move in the pocket. He just takes off. Jackson Dart doesn't try to, Jackson Dart tries to like throw the ball still. You know what I mean? He'll break 3 tackles behind the line of scrimmage and be like, all right, I found a guy. I'm going to throw it. You know,
Jackson just got to get better at reads, man. That's my biggest fault with him. Is he's
he's slow.
Like speed? Oh, you mean like his vision? Not speed.
Yeah, no, he takes too long. He takes too long to figure out who to
process things. Yeah. I mean, that's a part of like the Kiffin, and he gets compared to Matt Corral, obviously. I mean, same jersey and everything. I think he's better than Matt, like all around. I liked Matt Corral a lot, though. You know that.
Yeah, dude, UFL superstar, bro.
Matt had a lot of issues off the field, though, man. That was his main. Well, Chris, the Patriots fan. Yeah.
I do want to point out that I have Matt Corral's Panthers jersey. So I'm also
you had everyone's jersey, dude. Can I get that? Let me buy that from you.
The Matt Corral Panthers. All right, I'll send it to you, bro.
That's some random ass jerseys, dude. His man has every jersey. Like,
I grew up with
the most random player. You too, Chris.
I grew up with him. He'd have just every different color in the goddamn closet. There would be times I'd say,
I name some random player. Oh, I got his jersey. I got his helmet signed. I'm like, what? How? Like, what
I remember as a kid, I stayed at his house one day and I forgot a shirt for school. And God forbid if Josh Keatley, the Buckeye faithful Cleveland Brown fan, didn't have a fresh Corey Dillon jersey for me to wear on a Tuesday.
Oh yeah,
that's not
smooth.
But by the way, Josh, I would love to see Jalen maybe in the Steelers uniform too. I think he would fit.
I do not want to see that. I think.
Oh well, you know, yeah. I think that would be a good fit for him.
That would be a great fit.
Yeah. No.
All right, Chris, let's stop this bad boy down. We've been going on for an hour and a half.
We're gonna pot it down. We've got the NFL draft on I said Sunday. Holy shit, Thursday. Donovan, you're gonna be at the Jags draft party, yeah?
Yeah, man, I'm excited. Be in Neptune Beach, right down the street. It's not at the stadium this year because the stadium's under construction for, we're getting a new stadium. So it's at this place called Lemon Bar. So it's going to be crazy because it's at an actual bar in like not even Jacksonville, like at the beach. So it's going to be insane. I can't wait.
Nice.
I haven't drank much in a while though, so I got to chill.
Yeah, you got to start practicing now.
You got to start getting some reps in.
Yeah.
We'll see, man. It might be some booze if they draft bad, but I think this new regime will draft well. I think they want their first pick to be something special, so I think they'll go in a good route.
It'd be hard to fuck up. There's a lot of good players. This is a good draft. There's a good draft.
Josh, Thursday, I assume, what is it, Taco Bell and the TV?
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't make the rules anymore. Max does.
You're not going to Cleveland, bro, for the draft?
No, those days are over. No, I might have to watch it at YouTube once he falls asleep at 2:00 in the morning. Just follow it on my phone. Unfortunately, that's how it's been going lately, bro.
Damn.
I don't think I've been able to. I watched one UFL game live this weekend. The rest I had to watch when he fell asleep, like on YouTube. Like,
you guys pick like at pretty much like second though, so you should have it. Like, you should be
able to see that.
You're not waiting around. Like I was talking to Brock Vera. Like his team's picking in the 20s, both of his teams that he covers, the LA team. So it's like he has to wait a while. But you pick, I mean, you should maybe get Max on like that sleep schedule where he's a baby, so it's hard, I guess. But
yeah, he does what he
wants.
wants.
Tell Justine, hey man, like from 8 to like 9, bro, 1 hour.
That's what she's doing now. I don't have that option twice a week, Donovan.
I'll talk to her for you. I'm friends with her Facebook. I'm just kidding. I'm not talking to her.
My Thursday, again, I'm going to sit here and be braggadocious about this West Coast time. I can sit down at the dinner table and watch the draft at 5 p.m. here. So that's what I will be doing. And
very cool.
All of our teams pick pretty easy or pretty early, if I would. So after we get out, overjoyous cheers, or we have to start drinking because the franchises fuck themselves again. We're going to sit here and watch for Buckeyes. Donovan's going to watch for, some of these players that he got to see when they were in high school as well and see them get picked in the first round. And, hey, I absolutely love the NFL draft. My wife and daughter love to feign that they love the NFL draft too. They're like, who the Patriots pick? Did they screw it up again? I'm just like, they screwed it up again.
I tell you what, I love gambling on the NFL draft. I won a pretty decent amount of cash the last 2 years. Dude, I won enough money. I picked the exact spot Roma Dunze was going to get drafted, and that paid out pretty friggin' well. Okay, so I gotta prep and figure that out again. Try to figure out my line of attack this year as well.
Love it,
Man, I sadly don't have
my shitty UFL weekend. Went 2-2.
You need to help me bet on the draft then, because I want to do it, but I've actually never like really bet on the draft before because I lived in Georgia. Now I live in Florida where I can legally bet on the app. So
it's
Georgia.
fun.
I was offshore in Georgia, so I had to. They didn't have that option. Betting
on the draft is I'll jinx it now.
So Travis Hunter's minus 900. I should take that.
For what? Number 2?
Yeah, that's
not there's not enough. That's not enough juice to squeeze, bro.
Yeah, minus 900.
Yeah, dude.
Well, hey, we're going to get ready for the draft. It's Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Obviously, we assume Cam Ward's going number 1. Everything else is going to be real fun. This is a draft that we're very uncertain about 2 through 10, so it's going to be fun to watch those get mixed about and see what franchise comes out on top of the draft. And we'll be back next week. We're going to recap some of these Buckeyes and where they went and how they fit. And Donovan, you're more than welcome to jump on with us next week.
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead and talk about some of these Buckeyes, you want to talk about some of your guys and who you guys picked up, and
we'll go ahead and lock me in. Yeah, I'm down for that for sure.
We'll compare some classes, especially after how terrible WrestleMania was last night. I'm looking forward to the NFL draft because, man, WrestleMania pissed me off last night. I'm 35 and I was pissed off about WrestleMania, but that's for another episode. As always,
yeah,
I know, right? As always, I'm Chris. You can find me at CRunyon15 on X. Josh?
Yeah, man, follow me on X at Josh Keatley16.
And Donovan, where can we find all your work at?
Yeah, find me on X, Twitter at Don James Sports. Down here where the work is, Fansided, Hoosier State of Mind, SC Unfiltered, and then just doing some stuff for Jaguars still for the NFL draft. So thank you guys so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. We will see you guys next Monday. Enjoy the NFL draft.